everyone. I am Chef Meg. Welcome to Homemade. What is so great about Homemade is these are live cooking classes, and in the chat, you might have already heard from her. We have Mary, Chef Mary. Hi.
Hello. I'm
Hi.
so excited to be here. It's the Mary and Meg show.
That's right.
It's very exciting. This is
Two
one of my favorite
producers.
recipes.
Aw.
Two producers in the kitchen. I love it.
Yeah, I remember I'm the culinary producer here. I developed many of our recipes, and I remember carrying this flatbread over to everyone at their desks after we had made it. It is so good. It's surprisingly good how all of the components come together. One of them in particular, the tomato peach jam, is really great because it starts with the Peach Truck peaches. We've done, I think, 2 classes with them already. It's this great company. They ship peaches right to your door. They are hand-picked. They are tree-ripened. They are hand-packed.
What can't they do? What can't they do? And if you're in the South, you are actually able to get these delivered to your door, I hear.
Yeah. Oh my. Hold on one second. Excuse me. Look what just came.
That is just incredible. Can you believe? All the way up in
so-
Seattle.
Yeah, you can get these all over the country. They can ship them to your door. They don't have any time where they're processing in a facility where they're sitting in gases and colds. These are straight from the tree to your house. Let's take a look. And when you unbox these, hold on, where am I gonna put this? There's just a wafting aroma, sweet honey peach aroma. It's so, so nice. And just a really special gift. If you wanna show this, Richard. Peaches are just the most beautiful fruit. Come on. I actually sent some of these to friends of mine who just had a baby. And I'm they're a little baby head. It's just
That's
such a good
perfect.
gift. Yeah.
Perfect gift.
Yeah, I know.
But also,
I know.
it does feel sort of luxurious to unbox a hand-picked fruit. Are you kidding?
know.
I thought that only happened at Christmas.
Yeah,
Anyway,
so-
and their branding's cute, and the salsa we're about to make goes crazy. So
Obviously,
everyone get
we're
excited.
obsessed.
Yeah,
We're obsessed.
It's dumb.
And they're really, really good peaches. So let's crack into one. Let's get it going. About this recipe, I don't think I said what we're making. We're making a peach and tomato jam flatbread. It's basically 3 components. One of them is a super easy 2-ingredient flatbread. Comes together really quickly, no resting or really kneading or anything. I don't really understand how it works, but it does. Then we've got a whipped feta and then topped with that tomato peach jam. All right, let's do it. Do we have any questions
Let's do
so
it.
far, Mary?
Just sort of excitement about the peach truck. We love these classes too, you guys. We have only one more after this because of the seasonality of these fine fruits. But this one has been the one that I have been waiting for. I loved our earlier classes, especially the Danish. But this is the sweet savory I have been missing.
Yeah, and if anyone's gonna order, use code HOMEMADE. You'll get 10% off. So that's a nice little partnership we have going. We love it. All right, great. So I'm gonna start with our tomato peach jam. This is a savory jam, which I find is a great way to use up fruit. I don't really eat all that sweet in my day-to-day. I'm eating a lot more cheese and bread kind of situation. So we've got a shallot. This is a pretty large one. I think I'm only going to use one of these sections here. Split it up. It just takes a little bit of elbow grease to get in there.
That almost is a paid actor. You guys, the peaches are not like that. They are freestone peaches.
Yeah, no,
that
this
means
is
that
not
they are really easy to pull apart if you just
This
slice
is
them in half.
not
It's
a
pretty amazing.
freestone shallot. It's all right. So I'm just gonna dice this up and get it in the pan and get it kind of sweating, and then I'll get into the peaches. I'll show you that freestone. When I cut shallots and onions, I always place my hand on the shallot, not going down under, just right on top, and I slice lengthways through nearly to the root, and then I'll slice down and just get a nice even dice. You don't have to do it this way, but I'm really into, doing the least amount of cuts that I can in the kitchen and just keeping things really
So Meg, you've worked in a
ergonomic.
kitchen before, or in kitchens before.
Yes.
I just sort of like attack a shallot with my knife and just
Right.
am like, okay, and hopefully it's all sort of diced up. But is a dice technically even? Like, am I dicing if it's not all the way even?
I guess technically not. I think a dice, you want it to be even, so all those pieces are cooking evenly.
Sure, that's sort of the point
But
there.
I mean, this also isn't even. There's a ton, there's this piece.
Yeah. A
There's
jam,
this
yeah,
piece.
hold it
Oh,
up.
sorry.
The jam,
It's
the
a little bit different
chutneys,
there.
I feel like they're very forgiving if there's a bunch of vinegar added,
Right. Yeah. And it's gonna cook down with vinegar, like you said, and honey, and the liquid from the peaches and the tomatoes. So it's not super important that in this application that they're really uniform. Let me grab a spoon here.
We do have Lena in the chat who has made this recipe. And she
Oh, yeah?
said adding a little chicken to the flatbread is delish.
Oh, yeah.
Lena, was it grilled chicken? Was it from the grill? That's what I'd like to know. If it doesn't have grill marks on it, I'm like, what am I doing with
I
that
know.
piece of protein?
I know,
during the
that's why
summer?
even like without my grill, I'm always using the grill pan, need the grill marks. It's also about like the food styling. You eat with your eyes. So like those little touches really go a long way, I find. Okay, the peaches. Let's get on with it here. So I'm only going to use 2 for our jam. This one I'm going to use to slice for other purposes. And so I'm going to cut right into it. Freestone, it's those peach pits that just come out super easily.
Okay, see
and
how
you
that
also
felt
get a lot
so-
better yields because you're not
Yeah.
like hammering away at the peach pit.
That's so true. It's just different from pulling apart a stubborn shallot, And it should be. It's a dang peach.
Yeah. Beautiful, beautiful. This peach, I'm just going to put this aside. I'll use it later. I'm going to collect the peach pits and the peach skins as I peel them. We're going to peel these peaches that are going into the jam. Grab my peeler. I have a serrated peeler. That works great. It has, I don't know if you can see this, Richard, it has little teeth on it that just kind of help to cling on, especially if you have a really ripe peach. It's hard to kind of grip and get the skin off. Another way to do this, Chef Joel did it in our class, the jerk chicken and peach chutney class. He blanched them and threw them into the ice bath, and that just helps the peaches like release their skins, and the same thing will happen with the tomato as well. So you can do that. If you want to know how to do it, you can go check out that previous class, but I'm just going to get in here, and it just comes off super easy with this serrated peeler.
Just a whisper of the peeler.
I know, look at that. And these are really juicy, really, really sweet. And they're gonna go in there with vinegar, some chili flakes, some mustard, and just create a great jam. This is a really nice way to use up your peaches when they've gone pretty ripe and it's like maybe they're hard to slice or it's not something you necessarily want to bite into for breakfast. This is a nice way also to preserve, the seasonal fruits and take them into fall, like on your fall charcuterie board or whatever.
Gorgeous. And if you're trying to get these to ripen a little faster, is that just the old brown bag technique? Stone fruit in a brown bag?
I think so. Yeah, I think so.
Nice.
That's what I would do.
Do we have to peel the peaches for this?
You don't have to. You don't have to. I think it's sort of a texture thing, and I wanted to show you all a trick with what to do with the peach trim, and I'll show you right now. So I'm going to turn my shallots down a little bit because they're sizzling away, and I'm taking longer than expected. But here we go. I'm going to take these peach pits and our skins, and this in here, I have some peach pits from earlier. I have a bay leaf and a sprig of thyme, equal parts water and sugar. You could use honey. You could use whatever sweetener you like. And I'm just going to let that simmer away. I brought it to a boil. It's been simmering. And it's just going to infuse that syrup with all of the peach flavor and making sure that we get everything out of these peaches. There are trace amounts of cyanide in peach pits and other stone fruit pits.
Let's talk about it.
If that freaks you out, you don't need to you can leave them out. You can just do the skins in the syrup. But we are boiling it for such a short amount of time, and it's so few pits, we're not concerned, but I did just want to bring that up because it's a reality. Okay, so just a nice little dice on these. They're going to cook down and break down as we cook them. Mary, I have a question for you.
I may have an answer.
Okay, so using only, and everyone in the chat, I want to hear your answers as well. Using only the food that you have in your house, what kind of flatbread would you make?
Okay. I'm doing a mental scan of my fridge. We have sort of like the dregs of an old yogurt container. I have some
that's a good one.
Quaker's oatmeal.
Okay.
I got some chickpeas. Oh no. I don't think I can make bread with that. I know I can make bread with yogurt.
Okay.
Isn't that true?
Okay, let's say you have a flatbread, the bread part. What are you putting it on it with what you have in your house?
I thought I was leavening the bread. Okay, here's what I'm putting on it.
You're going with
whipped
that.
feta and peaches, dude. No, I'm definitely like caprese first, but I love a caramelized onion or a leek. A potato leek? I don't know. If it's a flatbread, I'll eat anything on it. Yeah, especially if it is the bread that Meg brought over to our desks when she first made this recipe. It's delish.
I'm going to cut this in a... Oh, what's up?
Let's see what other people are saying. Remy's saying broccolini, feta. There's probably something there. That sounds delish. Patty said Swiss chard and cherry tomatoes in her garden are ready. Patty, that sounds delightful. A fresh tomato? Mm-hmm. Let's see.
Ooh, this goes over here.
What else would you guys put on your flatbread? Or alternatively, how on earth would you make bread out of only the things you have in your kitchen right now?
Can you call oats shaken in a tub of yogurt bread? Okay. Working on my peaches. I'm going to get the tomato going. Let's see. Get tomato, get the vinegar in there. And then we'll stir the mustard in the end. Anyone favorite peach recipes? I heard you say caprese. I find that a peach caprese is like huge contender with tomato.
I'm just going to say sort of charred corn. Like, is that not to me, charred corn in the summer is like just an herb you sprinkle on top of stuff. Like, I just want it everywhere. Yeah. It's seasoning. That's all charred corn is. That sounds so good, Michael. Tomato and charred corn. Yeah.
We're not going to peel our tomato.
Bold.
Then that's just how the recipe is. So if you want to peel it and make kind of a smoother sauce, please do. Woo.
And Ave in the chat said peach crudo.
Peach crudo, that's
talk
so
about
me. Yeah, some thinly sliced peaches, a nice vinegar, little arugula. I could be into that for sure. Has anyone in the chat had peaches from the peach truck?
Oh, a great question. Now we're so spoiled up here.
Because I'm literally obsessed. We were just talking about how we're sad. Not we're sad, period, but we're sad, comma, because we just got our last shipment of the peach truck. Very bittersweet. Of course, it's really nice, but they've become such a friend in the kitchen, these peaches. We love them so much. Okay, now that those are sizzling away, I'm going to throw in some white wine vinegar. You can use champagne vinegar. Rice vinegar would be great. I think even apple cider vinegar, it's a little bit more astringent, but use what you got for this one. It's going to cook down and it's going to lose some of that like acidity. Some honey. Doesn't need much with the peaches. They are bringing their natural sweetness into the party. And then salt and red pepper. I generally put red pepper flakes just a little bit in everything I cook, bringing a little heat. I like that personally. I think it just like adds a little excitement and helps to bring out flavors. Same with the salt. Okay, I'm going to crank this up. You want a fairly rapid boil. Rapid simmer, everything cooking down quickly. Okay. Next, I'm going to whip up, this isn't in the recipe, but like I said, we eat with our eyes. I always like to put like something bright and herby on top of what I eat. So I'm going to cut up maybe just this half of the peach really thinly sliced. And it's all about the peach. The peach is the hero here, so this one's for me.
It's important to quality control your peaches, people.
It's so good. Even on the onion cutting board. You guys know what I'm talking about. Peaches, a little lemon zest. I'm going to use my microplane. Oh yeah, I think I need to put a little, I'm going to put a little bit in here too.
We're off-roading, but a chef is supervising, so it's
I
okay,
have to
people.
off-road, even when it's my own recipe.
It's so funny. Folks in the chat, are we all recipe followers, or do we sort of measure with our heart?
That's a great question.
With something like this, especially with like a jam or like a sauce component, you will not catch me looking at measurements.
Yeah.
I'm like, if it's a sauce, I decide.
Yeah. I really got like restaurant brain. When I was working in restaurants, I would be like, how long do you cook the broccoli for? Like, how much salt do you put? And the answer that I got was always like, you cook it until it's done. You season it until it tastes good. So that's where I come from.
You heard it here. You heard it here first.
It's a little harsh, but all right. I'm gonna bring these over here for our other element later. We've got some action here. I'm just gonna stir it every so often so we aren't getting any burning on the bottom. That should be good. All right, moving on. We've got our peach and tomato jam going. Now we're gonna get the flatbread made and get it on the grill. So, Lena, have you tried this? Or Steph, I want to hear what y'all think. The flatbread.
I am told that. Oh yeah, you guys tell us about the bread. I'm told that the what are we making? Not the chutney.
The feta?
The jam.
The jam?
The jam that's right there. I'm told the jam is excellent. Also, we have some heart measurers over here. Patty says no recipe is the same twice, which is an iconic way to be a chef.
Yeah.
And then Ave said that he reads the back of the mac and cheese box every time still. So we have a full spectrum here in the homemade kitchen, and that's allowed.
I think that I still read the mac and cheese box.
Well, I want to see if they have any new jokes.
Okay, so cottage cheese and self-rising flour. I'd love to know in the chat if anyone knows what makes self-rising flour different from an all-purpose flour.
And also, Lena said, it's surprisingly good as I hate cottage cheese. And guess what, Lena? Same. I went, this bread is so good. And
I
Meg
know.
said, there's cottage cheese in it. I said, uh-oh. And it was delicious, and I kept eating it.
The recipe does include, I think, a half teaspoon of salt, but a recipe isn't the same twice. I made this again, and I just found that I didn't need it. I tried it without the salt, and I think the cottage cheese brings like so much saltiness. So I'm just gonna go for it. Any answers about the self-rising flour?
Anyone? Bueller? Okay, put it in there.
Let's see.
Oh.
Can I see?
Oh, no, they're coming in. It has leavener in it.
Okay, yes, it does.
Very
So self-rising
good.
flour, the one that you can buy at the grocery store, it already has baking powder and salt in it. So we have a lot of seasoning going. The baking powder is gonna kind of tenderize the bread and help you get some air bubbles in there. If you don't have self-rising, you can just mix baking powder and flour and salt. I don't have the ratio off the top of my mind, but it's fairly easy to find. King Arthur has one on there. All right, so just those two things in the bowl. I'm gonna stir them around until it's nice and shaggy, getting all of the flour from underneath. And it might seem like it's too dry. And you might want to add water or more cottage cheese, but I would give it a little more time. As the cheese curds kind of release and squish, they have a lot of moisture in them. And I find that it comes together on its own. So I'm gonna get in there with my hands and work it a bit. And just squeeze, squeeze.
So you're talking about patience here as sort of the main ingredient?
A little bit of patience.
Yeah.
I think you're also maintaining your patience, because I find that if you add water, then you're gonna need to add more flour, and then it's a never-ending cycle, and then that's when I would lose my patience, I think. So I'm just turning it over, grabbing the dry pockets from underneath, pressing, and the cottage cheese adds a sourness to this bread that is really nice, almost like it tastes sort of like a sourdough pizza dough, but without the 40 hours of work needed to get that, which is awesome.
Okay, yeah, that already looks...
See?
You weren't lying.
I know.
That's real.
It came together.
Cool.
It feels almost like a biscuit dough, and kind of looks like it with the cottage cheese pieces in there. All right, onto the board. It is quite sticky, though, so it's quite sticky.
I see that.
So a plastic bench scraper and some bench flour are your friend. Michelle, can I have some bench flour? Speaking of, I found that rolling it in a bunch of flour really helps. All right. Store-bought is fine as well.
And that's always so important. But what would we do? What would we be doing at homemade if we didn't at least try to show you?
It's nice that you could, make this appear out of thin air at your house if you have these two ingredients. I'd be curious to know how it would work with yogurt in place of cottage cheese. I didn't test it with that yet. Actually, before I do that, I'm gonna knead this a little bit so that it'll come together and be a little bit easier to portion and work with. I got kind of obsessed with this recipe today when I tested it again earlier, and I was like, wow, it's just 1-to-1. It's 1 cup. You just knead it together. It's done. It's so simple.
It feels like something that even after baking in the sun all day, you could come back and be like, okay, I'm going to make a fresh meal that feels like it took me forever.
Exactly.
And the house won't get too hot if it's on the grill.
Yeah, you could throw it on the grill. I think even this peach tomato jam, if you've got peaches that are just looking so perfect, it's at the perfect moment of ripeness, you have the perfect tomato, all of these components together, uncooked would be really nice as well on top of the flatbread.
I have another question for you.
Yeah.
Could we use feta rather than cottage cheese in a flatbread moment? Or does that sort of that feels to me like texture of halloumi sort of mixed with something else?
I don't think it would work as well. Maybe if it was you included some of the feta brine.
Someone try this and let us know, because feta bread, I don't know if it would be, I think that would be the best thing for me.
Maybe
personally
feta and water.
Yeah.
Sorry, get my hand crumbs off of here. Okay, so we've got 4 little portions. Wait, is it supposed to be 4 or 8? I can't remember. I'll do 4. They can be whatever size. It's gonna have the same effect, and I'm gonna slice them up for the people later. All right. Not gonna be shy with the flour. Like I said, it's quite sticky, and it can take it. So just rolling these out, all rustic-like.
Lena confirmed 4. It's
4.
for 4.
Okay, hold
Thank
on.
you.
I broke this
Thank you,
one.
chat.
And there we go. Back together. It's super forgiving. We haven't developed any gluten or anything, and it just squishes right back. Make sure my grill is hot. Yep. And I'm just going to pat off some of that extra flour. And right on the grill. I've got it pretty hot, especially this stovetop grill. It's not going to give you as much heat as your outdoor grill that has like a lot of ambient heat coming from the flames or the charcoal. So going pretty high. I think I'll just do about 3 of these and then move on to our feta, whipped feta, Mary.
Incredible news for me. And potentially any suggested leftovers that may be occurring later.
Yeah, I love how this recipe, it's really, the sum is greater than the total of its part. Or wait, sorry, the sum?
Yeah,
The sum
greater
is greater
than the total of its parts. So
something like that.
How thick or thin are we rolling these things?
It's about 1/4 inch.
Okay, nice. Is it going to puff up? It will a little bit, but not
it will
too
just
much?
a slight bit. I
Cool.
think it might need to be a little higher for that. I feel like it would on the grill, but like I said, we're not getting as much heat as you would here. All right, stirring up this jam. It's going there's a lot of action in the pan. I'm cooking it pretty high. So it's getting slightly dry. I'm just gonna help it along, help those peaches to break up with my spoon. Yay, it's looking great.
Smells even better.
How we doing in the chat?
We're just worried about your jacket sleeves, but
Come
that's
on.
all. Oh, you guys. No, I just think that when Meg's in like full culinary chef mode, she is not speaking. She's so heads down, and her sleeves are messy.
Yeah.
If there are sleeves, that's how we know.
It's okay.
No, I like the
This is my
look.
chef
I
coat.
love the look.
Don't worry,
And
guys.
Steph said, and flour on counters, floors, and iPads. Absolutely.
Always. Yeah.
Yeah, that one's personal.
I'm like, it's cute to have the flour everywhere, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like rouge. It's blush.
Yeah.
It's the blush of a chef.
All right, I'm just gonna do this third one, get it on the grill, and then we can move on. If I wasn't gonna cook this right away, I'd probably just ball it up in these portions and put some plastic wrap on it, put it in the fridge, and just fire them up whenever you're ready. You could probably even roll them out and throw. Oh, I can't really move those.
You know I'm going to ask about freezing, aka putting it in my time machine.
Putting the dough in?
Yeah, if I made like a big
That's
batch
on.
of these and I wanted, I don't know, like a breakfast flatbread 4 mornings in a row, I would leave these in the fridge because I would be making them right away, but I wouldn't be putting them in the freezer.
Yeah, it should be fine.
Okay,
Should
let's
be
find
fine.
out. If anyone does that,
Yeah.
do let us know. I'll be doing that.
I'm sure you could just roll them out, put them in between like some parchment, and throw them in the freezer. Bring them out whenever you want. You could do the thing where you like fry an egg and then put them on top, then flip it over.
Just that thing. Just
know
that
that
thing we
thing?
do. Michael, you are so brave in the chat. He has to ask, is gluten-free flour okay?
I think it would be awesome.
Yeah.
The 1-to-1 gluten-free flours that they make are really great. And we're not building gluten. There's not really like anything flour specific about this recipe. I think it
No,
would
this
work
is
great.
this is something our tech director Richard, who's famously gluten-free, is very excited to eat. So we're just happy you're here, Michael. If you also have gluten struggles, we're happy to have you here.
We accept you. We invite you.
We just have to add the leavener if we're using gluten-free flour.
Oh, yeah. So I would add baking powder. I think it's like, look it up. It's on King Arthur. It's, 1.5 teaspoons or something to 1 cup of flour. So add your leavener, add some salt, get your cottage cheese going, and that'll be great. That's a great question. Clean as you go. That's my motto.
Do you keep your own kitchen at home as clean as you keep the homemade kitchen?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
that's
do.
good practice. Look
Yeah.
at that habitual clean.
That's where I live.
Mm-hmm.
That's where I am all the time. I'm going to wash my hands off real quick, turn my back to y'all. It's a sticky one, folks. Okay. Check in on our jam. It's looking great. So, yeah, it's starting to kind of stick on the bottom. I might want to buy myself a little more time for these peaches to break down. So I'm thinking about adding a touch of water. Water is such a great way to buy yourself time in cooking. If something's reducing too quickly, like a soup or a stock or whatever, like throw in some water and you have more time to work on it.
I always get confused about that because doesn't that dilute the flavors of what you're trying to do?
It does.
Like
but
glaze
as
or something?
I want to reduce this again.
Yeah.
So then it'll
Oh,
go
got
back.
it. Okay, even more concentrated. Okay.
But it's a good note. If you're adding water and seasoning, if you're going to reduce something and you season it to the way you want it to taste before you reduce it, you're going to end up with something that is like tastes stronger in whatever way, like tastes saltier than you wanted it to, or tastes more vinegar, or something like that.
That's explaining some things that have happened.
Yeah, something to be mindful of. I'm rolling my sleeves up, everyone.
Okay, everybody, she's rolling her sleeves.
After I'm done with the flatbreads, but still. Actually, no, this is looking great. So I'm gonna turn it off and move on. Fold in our mustard and then move on. This is kind of modeled after the Italian mostarda. It's like a candied fruit and mustard spread. It evolved from something like actual candied fruit that were like coated in mustard syrup.
I mean, that's my favorite. That is the thing I'm running to on the charcuterie board.
Exactly.
A fruit and a mustard? Yeah.
All right, in we go. Stir that, and then it'll be ready once it cools. I'm smelling some burning, so I think we're ready to get in and flip these. I'll use this guy. Oh yeah, look at that. Rustic little flatbread.
Gorgeous. Steph was pointing out that our striations in our grill pan are so like thick, and it's making these look really good.
Our what?
Our like striations.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we love this pan.
Yeah, this is a good one. We've used it so much this summer.
Oh my God, the summer of grilling, I'll say.
All right, this one's sticking just a touch.
And a quick question from the chat: what kind of mustard are we using in this?
This you could use. I think like a Dijon type would be best. We're using whole grain. I love the way that the mustard seeds look in there. If you pickle your own mustard seeds, I think a big spoonful of those would be really good. Dijon, a smooth Dijon would be great. You just wouldn't get the same visual. I don't know if I would put a yellow mustard, like a Hellmann's, but I don't know that I wouldn't if it was all I had. So there's that.
Well said.
For some reason, this one is sticking. I think I pressed it too hard, but I'll just
Was
leave
that the
it.
first one we put on? Is that the first pancake rule? Maybe not.
Yeah, it was the third pancake in this instance, but I'm just gonna leave it for a little bit and come back, and maybe it'll hop out. All right, there's a lot of components here. Feta, whipped feta. We've made this a couple of times here at Homemade. It's just a great pairing, a great little addition, and brings a lot of brininess and kind of a creaminess to this flatbread. Super simple. I like to use feta from the block that is still in its brine. I find that it's the freshest and the creamiest. When it's pre-crumbled, often they add like flowers or like gums or something like that sort of dry it out. So feta in the pot. a little bit of Greek yogurt. Where are we? Just any plain yogurt you have will work. I think a little bit of mayonnaise would work too if you don't have yogurt. It's just to move things along and get a little motion in there. Garlic, always a little garlic. We haven't used garlic today, so we got to factor it in some way. I like to grate it in so it's super smooth and distributes in there. Garlic, and then some olive oil. Just gonna do a nice drizzle. Move this off to the side. And I'll just blitz it until it's smooth. Has anyone made whipped feta by hand? Or not in a food processor?
Okay, I've made it my NutriBullet, so no.
Okay. I don't know how you would do it. I never have. All right. I'm going to scrape the sides and maybe add a little bit more olive oil just to, I want it to be pretty spreadable.
And are you adding any salt to this, or with the feta, that's sort of an afterthought?
I'll just let the feta season it. It's so salty. It's going to be just fine. Let's check these out. Yeah. Looking great. See, we don't really have, they're not puffing. I can feel there's some air in there from the leavener, but it's a simple bread, you know.
It's not called a rise bread, people.
It's a flatbread. Let me see if I can get this off. I feel bad. I feel bad for this flatbread.
Chefs in your kitchens, do you also feel bad for the food that you make? And do you have emotions about the foods you make? Of course we do.
Okay.
That one will still be eaten.
There we go.
Totally.
There we go. That's great. Back to the feta. All right, so I'm going to scrape, blend again, and maybe just a touch more oil. A nice olive oil. Lovely. You could, I'll wait until I'm done. Yeah. That looks great. I'll show you, Richard. Ooh, it smells really good. So there we go. We've got, it's pretty smooth, spreadable. Sorry, it's very like white on white, but it's like the texture of ricotta, I would say. Really nice. And I can just smell the garlic coming out. It smells salty. Delish. Okay, 1, 2, 3. I think we have all of our components, but I'm missing something else, and that's a beverage. I've been making this peach syrup over here with our pits and our skins. It is a lovely shade of pink, and I'm going to strain it and make a little syrup for a cocktail.
Can you talk to us, Meg, about what a little bay leaf is doing in there?
Oh, yeah, so I'm going to make a Negroni. I'm going to cut the Campari, half of it, with this peach syrup. And I think that I added a couple herbs to the syrup just to kind of like add on to the aromatic, like aperitif kind of quality. It's something that I like. And if you like bay leaves and really herbal beverages, I'd encourage you to make this and add, you know, whatever kind of like heartier herbs that you have. I wouldn't really put like maybe a mint, but probably something more like thyme or sage or bay leaf.
I wouldn't be mad at a rosemary. I wouldn't.
Rosemary would be really
or
nice.
Raspberry.
Or raspberry. Peach and if they grow together, they go together. Okay, so turn this off, strain it out. Now I'm kind of thinking I'll assemble the flatbreads first. These two are ready to go. Okay, I'll do this and then I'll make the drink. All right.
Okay, here's another question for you
Yeah.
as you're assembling. Ruby's asking, would hummus work instead of feta and yogurt?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Hummus would be great.
Oh, I want to try that. Let's try that.
It's neutral.
Yeah.
You can just buy it. We love to make things at homemade, of course. Make things homemade, but I think hummus would be awesome. Or if you made it yourself. That's not the only way to have hummus is to buy it. All right, I'm going to go a little like bistro style appetizer vibe and just plate these on a board, cut them up, and share them with the fine people here at Homemade. Oh no, I'm sticking. Whew.
That just popped right up.
This one I ended up rolling it a bit thicker. I think that's why it's having a hard time. But I made some before, so I'll get a third one from my little packet. All right, number 3. I'm gonna go in. Let me clean up my stuff here. I'm getting overwhelmed by all the objects. So, whipped feta first. Not too much. It's quite a strong taste. It's very salty. So I'm just going to do a nice thin spread.
Okay, savory frosting. That's
Savory
what I'm thinking.
frosting. That's
Delish.
right. I think any herbs in here would be great. A pinch of black pepper. What else? Would you put anything in this with feta, Mary?
If I'm not putting a spritz of lemon in
Yeah.
something, what am I doing?
Yeah.
You and I have already talked about our crudité. Let's
yes.
see. If it were truly sort of like a summer, I mean, this is a summer flatbread, I wouldn't mind, and this sounds crazy, a couple blueberries in there.
In the feta.
Yeah. And having it be sort of like a purple, I'm just trying to go for color, you know? I want my whole flatbread to look like a sunset.
I think I've already talked about savory fruit salad.
Oh.
And that's a new passion of mine.
I mean, yeah, that is a passion.
I have a mostarda that I made earlier, and it's cooled. I'm going to use this one. I'm just afraid of like the feta melting everywhere. So I would let your mostarda and let your flatbread cool just slightly before assembling. I'm going to move this one in the middle. I'm going to grab a spoon. It's such a beautiful color. The tomato and the peach like released their color into the jam, and it just looks so savory and delicious.
You know
really
what I'm going to
excited to try
ask?
this again. I've been waiting.
How long can this stay in the fridge if we don't eat it as if we're not going to eat it right now? But how long could this stay in our fridge?
Probably a week. It would do really well in the freezer.
Okay,
Yeah.
take notes,
I would
everybody.
freeze it for a couple months.
Sure. Get your farm fresh peaches in the summer
Exactly.
and make your mostarda for the winter blues.
Yeah. Just freeze it in like small amounts, and then you could pull it out for your cheese board or like on a grilled cheese or on I feel like on a chicken sandwich. Like a crispy chicken sandwich with this on it would be amazing.
I just got chills all over my body. Yeah, that sounds amazing.
Yeah, I think some prosciutto on here, like Lena said, some grilled chicken to make it more of a meal rather than an appetizer would be really, really good. Like I said, I wanted to make a little salad topper, so I have parsley and I have my thinly sliced peaches. I kind of want to put a little bit of shallot. I'll hold myself back this time, but a little shallot or a little bit of onion would be awesome. I'm going to squeeze some lemon in it, like Mary said. If you're not spritzing lemon, what are you doing? And the lemon's also going to help the peaches keep their color and not turn a little bit brown. If you have this sitting out, you know, having people over, hosting.
So, Meg, for
Yes.
the few of us who have attended all of the peach classes so far, aka myself and the peach freaks in the chat, when we made that chutney last week,
Yeah.
That seems like that can last longer in the fridge because it has more of a vinegar element, and this seems to be sweeter.
Yeah, this has some sugar in it. It has
Got it.
honey. I would think they would last about the same. They have really similar elements. This one's just leaning a bit more like Italian flavors. The vinegar will help kind of pickle the fruits and things.
Yeah, if it's in a vinegar bath, there's a chance it will be in the fridge for longer.
Yeah.
That's a really great question, Lena, because my chutney is also in my fridge.
I think the rule of thumb, whatever they say for homemade jams that aren't like totally like packaged and sealed, I would follow that. All right, so a nice little topper on here, not necessary, but it's a way to use up your peaches, and it looks real nice. Okay, off to the side. We've got these looking gorgeous. I'm gonna make a little drink with our syrup. Clean my space up a little bit before I invite friends into the kitchen.
The stampede that will enter the kitchen.
Yes. Whoop. Okay. For the syrup, you can just strain it through a fine mesh strainer and press on the solids to release the juices. It smells so nice. I can smell the peach. And, the bay leaf, the thyme. It just adds a little something. This just with sparkling water would be awesome. Or a little bit in tea, if you're a tea drinker.
Oh, Meg made this
There we go.
amazing Snapple flavored peach tea.
Yeah.
I don't even know what day it was, but this summer, and it was so good.
Yeah, I just poured boiling water on a peach that I had kind of scored.
Yeah,
and
that's
let that
it.
steep.
That's the one.
Made tea with that. It was so good. Here are these. And let me go grab my ice. I'll be right back. Okay. I've got a nice chilled cup with some ice in it. Richard, can you get in here? I want to show everyone.
Oh, that's crispy.
I found some like circular spherical ice molds that were full. So I'm very excited about this. I'm going to make a Negroni, which is normally equal parts gin, dry vermouth, or sweet vermouth. I don't know. I'm not very particular about my vermouths. Gin, vermouth, and Campari. Like I said, I'm cutting the Campari with our syrup, and look at that. Look at those colors. That just makes me happy. Okay, so I'm gonna throw a 1/2 ounce of the syrup in. Here's a 1/2 ounce of Campari. Put this down. 1 ounce of vermouth and another ounce of gin. This is not a shaken cocktail, it's a stir. I think I heard once that like fruit juice can't mix with alcohol unless you shake it, and that's why margaritas are shaken, but correct me if I'm wrong. I think my stepmom told me that when I was like really young for some reason. But that's why I think that's why a drink like this that's mostly just like liqueur and alcohol is just stirred.
I mean, I'm thinking about how we make like mayonnaise and stuff, and it's not. You even told me this a couple months ago. You were like, it's not about stirring. It's about making sure everything comes in contact with the sides of like a glass bottle or something. If you're like making a whisking something,
I don't know.
Put it in the chat, please. We can't do this without you.
Guys, how do you stir? I don't know. What is stirring? What is shaking? But I'm just stirring it until I'm holding on to the outside of the cup and just stirring until it feels extremely cold. And then I know it's cold. And I'm going to strain it over ice. It's a short cocktail. It's very strong, so you don't need much. I'm going to, how to use this as garnish. I think I'm going to do the whole thing because we can and because it's nice. So I'm just going to cut a little slit in there, place it on the side. Come on. That's
She's
how much
gorgeous.
of a peach garnish I want. I don't want a thin little slice.
No, I want
like
half
a quarter.
of a peach from the South. That's what I want.
Yeah. So, like we said, we love these peaches. The peach truck, there's only a couple weeks left of the summer harvest. So if you use code HOMEMADE on their website, peachtruck.com, you get 10% off your order. They ship peaches right to your door. It's really awesome service. Southern peaches, tree ripened, hand-picked, hand-packed. We love them. I'm just going to slice these up to share, and then we can try everything. Any last questions, lingering questions, comments, opinions?
I just asked if we think that you could have used a bigger garnish and to let people
like
in the
a
chat
hole?
know.
Oh.
Okay, Steph did say, we'll leave it at this. Went to bartender school in college. We were told not to mix layered drinks that have straws because the first thing customers do is stir the straw. Like when they're like it's part of
they're
the
supposed to do
entire.
it.
You have to think about the customer journey when you're serving a drink. That's so true.
Yeah, it's all about the experience.
Oh my gosh, you guys, the slicing is happening. We're actually
right.
going to have some of our homemade staff pop
Yeah.
up there.
Yeah, okay, so Michelle,
we can
Remy,
share.
can you come up and
Let's
try
really
these
show
with me?
how to eat this flatbread,
Yeah,
if we may.
my love language is sharing food, so I need others up here with me.
This is Meg's favorite part. She loves to pop back to where our desks are in the homemade studio, just sort of looking like she does now with a plate
All
of
right,
food.
choose your slice. I think this one's mine.
I'm going right for the middle.
Okay, I'm watching everyone's expression, sort of with jealousy behind here. Okay.
Pizza.
How
Yeah,
are we
Mary's
doing?
chained to the desk. Yeah, Michelle's calling it a peachza.
Peachza. I hope we all got that. Peachza.
It's just like,
Inspired.
it's just really wonderful. The creaminess and the jam and the bread, it all comes together. Comes together fairly quick. I did that in 52 minutes with a lot of talking. And I made a syrup and a drink. So, yeah, I hope you all try this. So delicious. Thank you for joining. And we'll see you next time.
Thank you all. See you later. Okay, I'm coming up there.